Welcome to Daily Crypto episode 19.
Great to be here.
Let's dive straight into what's moving the cryptocurrency market right now. It feels like, well, every day there's a new twist.
Absolutely. It's relentless.
So we're going to try and unpack some of the key developments today in this deep dive.
Sounds good. Crucial to cut through the noise. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get a quick snapshot. The major cryptocurrencies first. Bitcoin is currently around, what, $87,393.
Yeah, that's right. And showing a positive move over 3%, about 3.37%.
Not Ethereum, also seeing gains.
Also up. Trading at $1,643. Similar percentage gain, actually, around 3.27%. Sitting at $603. That's up by almost 2%, 1.8% roughly.
Solana, a bit less of a jump.
Yeah, $140. Still positive, though, about 0.74% up.
And XRP, looks like it's following the trend.
It is. $2.13, seeing a rise over 3% as well, about 3.4%. So yeah, generally upward for the big players.
It's interesting, that consistency across the board, isn't it?
It really is. This broad positive movement might suggest maybe a renewed sense of optimism in the market.
Could be. Perhaps driven by, some of the institutional stuff we might touch on later, or macro factors.
Exactly. Could be a mix of things.
Okay, and what about the meme coin world? Always lively there.
Always. So Shiba Inu is at, let's see, 0.000000077. It's up about 3.2%.
And Pepe, I saw that made a pretty significant jump.
It did, up to 0.00000000079. That's a gain of over 6%, 6.25%. Quite strong.
Wow, okay, bond.
Bonks at 0.000000127. That's up by 4%.
Dog with hat.
0.441152. Similar rise there, about 4.37%.
And PopCap.
PopCat's at 0.253501, also up nearly 4%, about 3.98%.
So it seems like that speculative interest, that substantial gain in Pepe, for instance, it really highlights the potential for these rapid, community-driven price surges.
And also the risk, right? Important for you to remember that.
Absolutely. High potential for gain, equally high risk of significant drops, always. Okay. Now let's delve into some of the headlines making waves. One that really jumped out at me. This report about crypto wagers in gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Over $81 billion in 2024 alone, even with all the legal barriers. That's just staggering.
It truly is an enormous figure, and it really underscores the deep integration that's happening, between crypto and online gaming.
Even with the regulatory hurdles.
Exactly. The fact that this volume exists despite those issues, it points to really strong underlying demand. It suggests that, well, if regulations clarify, we could see even more growth there.
Makes sense. Another big story, gold hitting a new all-time high, $3,390.
Right.
And naturally, that leads people to ask, could Bitcoin follow suit, reach a new peak itself? What's your take on that comparison?
Well, it's a logical comparison people make, for sure. Both are viewed by some as stores of value or hedges against traditional financial uncertainty.
Like digital gold, as they say.
Precisely. So gold's performance definitely draws attention to alternative assets. Whether Bitcoin can mirror that, it'll likely depend on a mix of things. Macro conditions, investor confidence, continued adoption.
Both retail and institutional.
Both, yeah.
Okay. Then we had some pretty strong words from Plan B, the creator of the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model.
Ah, yes, the S2F model.
Yeah. Controversial,
but watched.
Very. He called Ethereum a pre-mined shitcoin. That's pretty direct.
It is a very strong statement. And it reflects a long-standing debate within the crypto community.
About the initial distribution.
Exactly. The term pre-mine refers to how a significant chunk of Ethereum tokens were allocated to founders and early investors before public launch.
Unlike Bitcoin's launch.
Right, which is often called a fair launch because no coins were pre-allocated like that.
Right.
Critics argue pre-mine can lead to centralization, maybe disadvantage later adopters. It's a core philosophical difference for some.
Speaking of specific crypto issues, synthetics. The founder is urging stakers to act. Something about SUSD.
Yeah, SUSD is their stablecoin. It's supposed to be pegged to the US dollar, 1-to-1.
But it's depegged. Lost that stable value.
Apparently so. And that's a serious issue. A stablecoin losing its peg can create instability, loss of confidence within the DeFi ecosystem it supports.
Sounds like it could have ripple effects.
It could. The founders' call to action shows they're actively trying to fix it, which highlights both the potential vulnerabilities but also the community mechanisms trying to address them.
Okay. On a potentially more positive note, for a smaller crypto at least, HYPE, seeing a bullish pattern, tracking towards $20.
So the reports suggest, yeah, possibly indicating some significant upward movement. It's always interesting to see these smaller cap coins making potentially notable gains.
Definitely catches the eye.
It does. And these kinds of movements in smaller altcoins can be, well, quite exciting. But crucially, you need to remember, they also carry a higher degree of risk.
More volatility.
Much more. Bullish technical patterns can suggest momentum, sure, but you absolutely need thorough research into the project's fundamentals. Always.
Got it. Sticking with Ethereum for a moment, Vitalik Buterin, he proposed a potentially major technical change, replacing the EVM.
Yeah, the Ethereum virtual machine. That's the core execution engine for Ethereum smart contracts.
And replace it with RISC-V to improve scalability.
That's the proposal. RISC-V is a more modern, open-source instruction set architecture. The idea is it could offer greater efficiency, flexibility, potentially leading to increased transaction processing, which is key for scaling Ethereum.
So it's a huge undertaking. And there's been a response from someone at the Ethereum Foundation.
Yes, a co-executive responded. It's a significant proposal, definitely. The fact it's being discussed publicly by key figures shows its potential importance for Ethereum's future. Big architectural shift, if it happens.
Very interesting. Okay, in a more unusual piece of news, Solana, a project called Meatbags, announced an NFT sale with the goal of buying a Cold War bunker.
Buying a bunker? Seriously.
Apparently. You certainly don't see that kind of goal every day in the NFT space.
That's novel. Truly. Using NFTs to fund the purchase of a tangible and, yeah, pretty unexpected physical asset like a bunker, it really highlights the creative and diverse ways people are using NFTs beyond just digital art.
Definitely creative. Okay, let's touch on some other notable developments. Strategy, adding more Bitcoin again.
Seems like it. Reports say another 3,459 Bitcoin added to their holdings.
Their consistent accumulation,
Yeah.
it really signals a strong long-term belief, doesn't it?
It does. It's a significant institutional vote of confidence in Bitcoin. Store of value, treasury strategy. These kinds of large buys often signal that broader institutional interest is still strong.
And we're also seeing Kraken, the exchange, expanding its offering into stocks and forex trading.
Exactly. It suggests a trend. Crypto platforms trying to become more like, well, comprehensive financial hubs, integrating traditional assets alongside digital ones.
Trying to capture more of the market.
Yeah, diversify revenue, attract a wider audience. Makes sense as the market matures.
Interestingly, the SEC, reports say they've dropped their case against CyberKongs. That's an NFT project.
Right. Any news about SEC actions or non-actions is always closely watched.
Especially in the NFT space, which is still finding its regulatory footing.
It is. Developments like this provide important signals about the evolving legal landscape. Why they dropped this specific case could offer insights into their current thinking.
On a different note, El Salvador, there are reports that Bitcoin businesses are quietly disappearing.
Yeah, I saw that too. This is, what, a few years after their big move to make Bitcoin legal tender.
Right. What could be behind that?
Could be a mix of things.
Yeah.
Maybe the inherent volatility of Bitcoin makes it tough for everyday business, practical difficulties in widespread adoption, maybe a lack of sustained local demand or infrastructure.
So the real-world challenge is kicking in.
Potentially. It raises important questions about actually implementing crypto as a national currency. It's not simple.
No, definitely not. Shifting to broader themes now, there's discussion around bias in financial AI and how blockchain's transparency and immutability might offer, solutions to help mitigate that bias.
That's a fascinating angle, using blockchain's trust mechanics to potentially improve AI fairness.
And there's another related idea floating around that while AI could potentially flatten creativity, sort of standardize things.
Make everything look the same?
Kind of, but blockchain, by providing clear ownership and provenance, could be the tech that actually saves or protects creativity.
Those are really thought-provoking ideas about the bigger picture. The societal impact of these technologies colliding. Blockchain addressing AI bias, safeguarding IP. It highlights potential beyond just finance.
Definitely food for thought. Okay, we've also seen some reports highlighting specific cryptos, SOL, Lightchain AI, XRP mentioned as potential performers for May.
You always see those kinds of tips and picks circulating.
Yeah, and also this idea about a project called XYZverse, maybe replicating Dogecoin's early success, like a sports meme coin. And some expert picks for millionaire-making potential, including Cardano, Pepe, Shiba Inu, Lightchain AI again. Seems like ongoing enthusiasm for certain alts and meme coins.
Well, it's really important for you, the listener, to approach those kinds of predictions with a healthy dose of caution.
Absolutely. High potential often means high risk.
Exactly. Do your own research, understand the risks involved. Don't just rely on headlines.
Sound advice. There's also data on Dogecoin sentiment. 72% of supporters reportedly holding a long position.
That indicates strong belief within that community that the price will rise. That kind of conviction can be a powerful market force, especially for meme coins.
Community is key for Doge.
It often is. But market sentiment can also be fickle, subject to rapid shifts.
True. And speaking of meme coins, Pepe again. Talk of a specific technical pattern, codename, Pepe.
Right. Some analysis suggesting this pattern historically preceded a Dogecoin surge.
So the question is, could we see a similar rally this time for Pepe based on that?
Technical analysis can sometimes spot recurring patterns, yeah. But it's crucial to remember past performance isn't indicative of future results. It's interesting, but just one piece of the puzzle. Look at fundamentals, too.
Okay. The overall direction for Bitcoin's price still seems like a major point of uncertainty, right? Are we heading into a crypto winter, or is a big rebound coming?
That debate is constant, isn't it? It's just characteristic of a relatively young, evolving asset class.
So many factors influencing it.
Exactly. Macroeconomics, regulation, tech advancements, they all contribute to the volatility and the wide range of opinions you hear.
We're also seeing reports of Pi Network, its value continuing to decline, investors moving elsewhere.
Yeah, reports suggest investors might be shifting attention to a pre-sale for a project called Yeti Aro.
Just highlights that constant search for the next big thing, the higher returns in new projects.
Well, it's a common phenomenon. Capital moving between projects, especially towards new pre-sales, reflects the speculative nature of the market, the desire to find that next high-growth opportunity early.
And sometimes those opportunities are framed in very bold terms, like this claim from people who supposedly made $10 million on a KYB.
What are they saying now?
Suggesting another unnamed meme coin is poised for a 100x increase.
Well,
100x.
those are the kind of claims that really grab attention.
They do. But claims of such extraordinary returns, you should always approach those with extreme skepticism.
Because it's incredibly high risk.
Exactly. Significant gains are possible, yes, but they come with substantial risk. And predictions like 100x are often highly, highly speculative.
Okay. What about XRP? Despite a recent price dip, some analysis of historical trends suggests it still has millionaire-making potential.
That's certainly an optimistic take for XRP holders. Historical data gives context. But again, past performance doesn't guarantee future success.
Its future depends on a lot of factors, regulation especially.
Absolutely. Regulatory clarity, adoption. Many evolving factors will shape its path, like any crypto. And it seems the hunt for the next big meme coin is just relentless. SHI whales large holders, apparently eyeing new viral cryptos. Predictions of 10,000% rallies.
10,000% now.
Yeah, and reports of new inflows into some 0007 crypto being accumulated by these SHI millionaires. The fervor continues.
The allure of those huge percentage gains, especially in meme coins, it's undeniable. But again, it's crucial for you listening to understand these are exceptionally speculative investments, very high risk of significant capital loss.
Right. Okay, shifting to the institutional side again. Weekly inflows reportedly returned to Bitcoin ETFs.
Yes, the exchange-traded funds, even after those recent comments from former President Trump about the Fed chair.
So it suggests continued institutional appetite, despite maybe some market noise.
It does seem that way. The resumption of inflows is a positive sign for ongoing institutional adoption. Suggests a longer-term investment thesis is at play for many, beyond short-term fluctuations or commentary.
And Bitcoin miner HIV Digital, their share price jumped.
Yeah, after completing a big 100-megawatt mining site in Paraguay.
Shows how infrastructure developments in mining can directly impact those publicly traded mining companies.
Definitely. Infrastructure is vital for the network's security and growth. The market reacting positively to HIV's expansion underscores the importance of mining capacity and efficiency.
On a less positive note, news of a reported hack. Bybit Exchange.
Yes, reports of a hack there, and a significant portion of the stolen funds apparently untraceable.
Just a stark reminder of the security risks that are always present.
Always. Security remains paramount. Incidents like this really highlight the critical need for robust security, both from exchanges and from individual users protecting their own assets.
Definitely. Metaplanet, another company known for Bitcoin investments, added more BTC.
Another 319 BTC, reportedly, bringing their total close to 5,000 Bitcoin.
So Similar to Strategy, they seem to be significantly increasing their Bitcoin allocation.
It further illustrates that growing trend. Publicly listed companies viewing Bitcoin as a potentially valuable treasury asset.
Okay. What about the Zora token associated with the NFT platform on Ethereum, set to launch soon?
That's the report. Could be an interesting development for the Ethereum NFT ecosystem.
How so?
Well, platform tokens like this can often play a crucial role. They incentivize user engagement, help drive growth for the ecosystem, so its launch will be one to watch for its potential impact.
Right. Then we have CoinFund's president criticizing the bank for international settlements, the BIS, their crypto containment strategy, calling it dangerous.
Yeah, that highlights the ongoing tension, doesn't it? Differing perspectives between traditional finance institutions and the crypto industry about regulation.
A clash of views on how to handle crypto.
Clearly divergent views on the best way to regulate and integrate crypto. Criticisms like that underscore the need for continued dialogue between the industry and regulators.
We also saw some interesting altcoin moves. Voxies and Broccoli surged while Dogecoin slumped.
Right, really underscores the dynamic, often unpredictable nature of the altcoin market. Different narratives can drive significant price action quickly.
Very reactive sometimes.
Very. Specific news, trends, community sentiment. The contrasting performance there just exemplifies it.
And the top cryptos reportedly to watch this week: Mantra, Memecoin, Pi Network. Quite a mix.
It is a diverse range, from maybe more established projects to newer, more speculative ones like Pi still trying to find its footing.
But again, watching is one thing, investing is another.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye on trends is part of analysis, but you have to do your own thorough research and due diligence before making any investment decisions based on a watch list.
Okay. Samson Mao, well-known Bitcoin advocate, expressed an opinion on valuations. ETH SOL XRP overvalued compared to Bitcoin's limited supply.
Yeah, that's a valuation perspective rooted in scarcity, comparing market caps relative to Bitcoin's fixed supply. It's one way to think about value.
But a complex and debated one.
Definitely. Not everyone agrees on that methodology for comparing different types of crypto assets.
There's also analysis suggesting Pepe's price could soar due to falling exchange supply and rising whale accumulation.
Those are technical indicators some traders watch closely, yes. Decreasing supply on exchanges plus increased buying by large holders.
Can signal potential upward pressure.
It can sometimes indicate that due to scarcity and demand from big players. But again, these aren't guarantees, just potential signals within a broader market context.
Got it. And AI tokens. FET, AIC, Render, WLD, TAI reportedly saw a significant surge recently.
Yes, that intersection of AI and blockchain seems to be attracting a lot of investor interest and momentum right now.
A hot narrative.
Seems to be. The convergence of AI and blockchain is rapidly evolving, potentially transformative. The market reacting positively reflects that perceived potential for synergy and innovation.
Interesting comparison here. Tether's revenue, reportedly close to $1.5 billion, much higher than the entire Ethereum network's revenue.
That really highlights the massive role stablecoins, especially Tether, currently play. They're like foundational plumbing for the crypto ecosystem.
Facilitating trading, providing liquidity.
Exactly. Tether's dominant position and its substantial revenue just underscore its critical infrastructure role in the current market, enabling huge trading volumes.
Wow. Okay, Charles Schwab, CEO, mentioned a big jump in client interest in crypto, like 400%.
That's a significant number from a major traditional player.
And even hinted at possibly offering direct spot crypto trading on their platform.
That would be a huge step.
Yeah.
Increased interest from established firms like Schwab, and then potentially offering direct trading. It's a major move towards mainstream adoption and integration with traditional finance. Opens crypto up to a much wider base.
Definitely one to watch. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author, reiterated his Bitcoin prediction, $1 million by 2035.
He's held that view for a while, hasn't he? Though he seems to tie it to some kind of economic or financial crisis happening first.
Yeah, a very long-term view and maybe a bit of a pessimistic underlying scenario needed for it.
Well, long-term predictions are always speculative, often contingent on specific future events. It's certainly a bold outlook for Bitcoin's potential appreciation over the next decade, even if tied to challenging circumstances.
Okay, switching to NFTs again. Reports indicate a significant plunge in overall NFT sales volume.
Yeah, and a notable drop specifically in CryptoPunks sales, one of the big original collections.
Could that suggest a cooling off? Or maybe just a shift in focus within the NFT market?
Could be either, or both. The NFT market has definitely had periods of intense hype followed by corrections. A decline in volume, especially for blue chips like punks, might indicate a broader recalibration of value and interest, or maybe interest moving to newer types of NFTs.
We'll see how that plays out. There's also talk of a bullish pennant forming for Bitcoin. That's a technical chart pattern, right?
It is, often interpreted as a continuation signal for an upward trend, potentially forming amidst these ongoing tensions between Trump and Fed Chair Powell.
So technical analysts watch these patterns for potential clues about future price moves.
They do. Bullish pennants are often seen as suggesting a potential resumption of an uptrend after consolidation. But, market events and broader sentiment can always override technical patterns.
And currently, Bitcoin's price is kind of range-bound, trading in a narrow range with decreasing volatility.
That's what reports suggest. This sideways movement, lower price swings,
But
it could be a precursor to a more significant move, either up or down.
like the market coiling up?
Sort of.
Meh.
A period of low volatility can sometimes precede a significant breakout as the market gathers momentum for its next major swing. Traders watch these periods very closely for directional signals.
We also saw significant price jumps in ALEO and GMT as Ethereum recovered back to $1,600.
Yeah, that illustrates the interconnectedness you often see. Movements in major coins like Ethereum can have ripple effects on other altcoins.
Correlations at play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A recovery in a major asset like ETH can often provide a lift sentiment for the broader altcoin market.
Interestingly, though, Tron's price reportedly stalled, despite a surge in network fees this year.
That suggests that high network activity, generating lots of fees, doesn't always directly translate into immediate price appreciation for the native token.
So usage doesn't equal price pump automatically.
Not always, no. The relationship is complex, influenced by overall market sentiment, specific demand for the token itself, other factors too.
Right. There was also mention of total venture capital funding into crypto for recent week. Tracking that investment, it gives a sense of the innovation happening behind the scenes.
It does. VC funding is a crucial indicator of long-term belief and development in the crypto and blockchain space. That figure gives a snapshot of where investors are betting on future growth.
Okay. And a prediction that Solana might be the one to break the current market indecision, ends the market limbo with a rally.
Solana's been prominent and often volatile. Any signs of renewed, strong upward momentum there would likely be watched very closely by the wider market for potential broader signals.
A potential leader out of the range.
Some might see it that way, yes.
Uniswap's chart also getting attention. A bullish megaphone pattern. Increasing unichain volume.
Another technical formation traders analyze. Bullish megaphones can suggest increasing volatility and potential for upward momentum, especially if paired with rising volume, indicating more participation.
Okay. And finally, XRP's price. Reportedly not reacting positively to recent positive news, leading to questions about that $5 price target some hold.
Yeah, it highlights that market sentiment and price action aren't always directly tied to positive fundamental news, especially for a coin like XRP with its ongoing regulatory saga and other factors.
Market dynamics are complex.
Extremely. Price often reflects a whole mix of factors beyond just the latest headlines.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the recent crypto market activity, wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
We certainly have. Prices, meme coins, NFTs, DeFi, institutional moves, regulation.
It just reinforces how the cryptocurrency market continues to be this rapidly evolving, often surprising space.
Absolutely. Never a dull moment.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Join Daily Crypto for more real-time market updates.
Indeed. Stay informed.
And maybe a final thought for you listening. With such rapid shifts and so many varied opinions flying around, what unexpected developments do you think will shape the crypto landscape next?